He's a great finisher. I think he's the best finisher in boxing. He's Joe Louis, he's Mike Tyson, he's Jack Dempsey. Three of the greatest finishers in the history of the sport. He's all of them.
Do you still watch boxing now? You're still in?
The rise of a fighter like Naoya Inoue, known as the Monster, is nothing short of captivating for anyone with a passion for boxing. His meteoric rise through the ranks of the sport has made waves not just for his power and technique, but for the way he approaches boxing with an intensity and relentlessness that recalls some of the best finishers in boxing history. Those who've seen him fight can't help but compare him to the legends, names like Mike Tyson, Joe Louis, and Jack Dempsey, all of whom were known for their devastating knockouts and brutal finishing skills. Naoya Inoue's approach is a mix of everything these fighters stood for, but with a modern flair that makes him uniquely dangerous in the ring. His performances have drawn comparisons to Tyson's ferocious power, Louis' precision, and Dempsey's relentless aggression. These are all traits that made these men unforgettable in the sport, and now it seems Naoya Inoue is following in their footsteps, becoming a force to be reckoned with. When you watch him fight, it's almost as if he is rewriting the playbook on how to dominate a division. His understanding of the fundamentals is extraordinary. He blends footwork, speed, timing, and power in ways that many other fighters, even at the highest levels, fail to execute effectively. When you see a fighter with such mastery of technique paired with raw power, it's no surprise that the boxing community is in awe of him. His performance in the ring is not just about winning rounds, it's about demoralizing and dismantling his opponent with each punch thrown. What makes him especially dangerous is his combination of punching power and his mental approach to the sport. Much like Tyson, Inoue is unafraid to step into his opponent's space and make them feel his presence. He's calculated and precise in how he sets up his shots, but once he's in the pocket, he's an unstoppable force. His movement is fluid, and his ability to close the distance and find openings for his power shots is truly something to behold. Opponents often find themselves on the defensive early, as Inoue dictates the pace of the fight and forces them to play catch-up, making it difficult to settle into any rhythm. Even more impressive than his raw power is his versatility. Unlike many fighters who rely on one or two techniques, Inoue's style is multifaceted. He can box at range, he can fight on the inside, and he has an uncanny ability to adapt to different fighting styles, making him a nightmare for anyone facing him. It's as though he possesses a fighter's sixth sense. He seems to always know exactly what his opponent is trying to do and how to counter it. This makes him an even more dangerous prospect for any fighter, whether they're a seasoned veteran or a rising star. And what's more, his mental toughness is an intangible but essential part of his success. Boxing legends have often said that the true measure of a great fighter is how they handle adversity. Whether it's getting knocked down, facing a more technically skilled opponent, or dealing with the physical demands of the sport, it's the greats who rise to the challenge and continue pushing forward. Inoue embodies this mental strength. When the feat came calling, he was ready to handle it. The repeated wins and encouragement that he gets from his coach propels him to continue pushing forward. Inoue receives in his most recent fights, we've seen him handle pressure with a calm and collected demeanor, breaking down opponents methodically and without hesitation. Even when faced with difficult situations, he stays focused, never losing sight of his goal to dominate. It's easy to see why many in the boxing world are buzzing about his future. He's already one of the most dangerous fighters in his weight class, but the question that's starting to emerge is, how long will he stay at this weight? Is he destined to move up in weight and seek new challenges? This is where things get really exciting, because the prospect of Naoya Inoue moving up in weight brings about a whole new level of intrigue. The idea of him moving up in weight brings us to the question of what he could accomplish against heavier competition. His skill set is already elite, and he possesses a punch that could easily make him a formidable force in the heavier divisions. He has the power to deal with the bigger, stronger opponents, but what truly makes this possibility enticing is his mindset. There's an old saying in boxing, if you can't take a punch, you can't make it. Inoue, however, has demonstrated a rock-solid chin and an ability to weather even the toughest moments, which is crucial when moving up to face opponents who have more mass and power behind their punches. If he does decide to move up, it would be a strategic challenge, but one that I'd be eager to oversee. As someone who has been a mentor to many great fighters and with a deep understanding of the physical and mental preparations required to step up in weight class, I would love the opportunity to train him and guide him through the transition. It's not just about conditioning the body to handle a heavier load. It's about recalibrating his strategy, working on how to handle the increased pressure from stronger opponents, and ensuring that his skills remain sharp as he adapts to a new level of competition. This could be a turning point in his career, and if he does take that leap, there's no telling how far he could go. There's something special about watching him fight now. Even in his current weight class, he is already a standout. His ability to break down opponents and finish fights in spectacular fashion is a testament to his innate talent, his dedication, and his passion for the sport. His recent performance, for example, showcased everything that makes him so formidable. Quick combinations, brutal knockout power, and the ability to read his opponent's every move before they even make it. Legends who have seen it all have openly praised him, acknowledging the rare combination of skills and instincts he brings to the ring. The thing about fighters like Inoue is that they don't just win, they make you believe in the magic of boxing again. They remind you of why you fell in love with the sport in the first place. As a mentor and trainer, I see the same spark in him that I saw in the greats of the past. His approach to boxing is a combination of old school fundamentals and modern techniques that has created a unique and almost unbeatable style. If the world hasn't already caught on to Naoya Inoue's potential, it's only a matter of time before they do. He's more than just a fighter, he's a phenomenon, and his story in the sport of boxing is just getting started. Moving forward, I look forward to seeing how his career unfolds. And if he chooses to climb the ranks in the heavier divisions, I'll be there to help guide him every step of the way. There's no telling how far he could go, but one thing is certain. Naoya Inoue has the potential to leave a lasting legacy in the sport, and the world of boxing will be watching every step of the way. That said, I think boxing is still doing better than a lot of other sports, even compared to the rest of the world. He has the strength, speed, intelligence, and mental toughness to overwhelm anybody who enters the ring with him. And he also has the psychological fortitude to win over his opponents. A factor fighters understand that they are up against more than just a boxer. They are up against a monster. The key issue is, can anyone stop the monster? Right now, it doesn't seem like anybody has the means to stop him. And he's not just defeating his opponents, even the best. Legends like Mike Tyson have praised Inoue, saying that he is not just a brilliant fighter, but also a generational talent who is redefining what it means to dominate in boxing, making opponents in his weight class seem like underdogs. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao aren't just hype, they're acknowledging a guy who is really exceptional. You know he's done ennui and deserves to be in a power P, and I firmly believe that he's going to have a hard battle. Won't take anything away from him. It was a great fight, and I like him because I see that he takes a lot of my things from my playbook, but that's all right because those are the boxes you're meant to take from your boxing greats. Former world champion and boxing legend Shawn Porter recently expressed his opinions on Naoya Inoue with World Listens, and his laudatory remarks have further fueled the excitement around the Japanese superstar Inoue's explosive ascension, his commanding performances, and The former welterweight champion hinted at Inoue's confidence and even suggested that he might become the next Manny Pacquiao, a fighter who crossed boundaries and became a worldwide boxing icon. Inoue's confidence is often what separates great fighters from truly elite ones, and during his most recent fight, ENA, he displayed a level of self-assurance that Porter couldn't help but admire. Inoue's electric style has captured the attention of both fans and fighters alike, but it was his performance in that fight that really left Porter in awe. Inoue's method, Porter said that Inoue was obviously at the top of his game and oozed confidence. He said that it was usually necessary to know the opponent had already broken down in order to execute such plays so early in a match. You know you're a bad boy when you're at the top of the game and you're pulling that kind of stuff off this early. Normally, you want to know your opponent's breakdown, but Porter noticed that he didn't seem to fully understand his abilities and executed them with assurance and precision. Porter was referring to not only Inoue's technical skill, but also his ability to take calculated risks early in the fight rather than waiting to methodically break down his opponent. Inoue displayed an almost audacious confidence in his strategy and execution, demonstrating that he's operating on an entirely different level. Before you do those kinds of new things, I was like, yo, my man is confident. He knows exactly what he's designed to do when he's doing it. In boxing, mental toughness is uncommon. While having strength, speed, and technique is one thing, having the confidence to execute hazardous moves at the highest level of competition is something else entirely. Shawn Porter went one step farther than just complimenting Inoue's self-assurance, speculating that he may become the next Manny Pacquiao in terms of both talent and the ability to captivate audiences across the globe. Porter said that he thought they could have discovered the next foreign fighter who might connect with the asked. He expressed his opinion to an American audience that Inoue could be the next Manny Pacquiao, not necessarily in terms of moving up the weight classes, but rather as a highly explosive, attractive, and appealing person as well as a fighter. I reasoned that between Issoe Cruz and Inoue, we might have the next foreign fighter for the Sega words, who could communicate with the American audience / celebrate the youth of wrestling on such a huge scale, other than who knows who decides whether George Foreman is a woman fighter or a female. In any case, I do think Inoue is the next Manny Pacquiao, not necessarily in terms of moving up the weight class and all that. I'm looking forward to it because, like Pacquiao in his heyday, Inoue is a firecracker in the ring with his lightning. He's really explosive, eye-catching, and welcoming to who he is as a fighter and as a person. Fans are on the edge of their seats as opponents are left reeling by quick combinations and deadly power. Beyond his fighting technique, Pacquiao's popularity stemmed from his relatability, humility, and approachability. Porter believes that Inoue has comparable qualities, making him a potential global superstar in addition to a boxing great. A representative of the sport. While Inoue has already attained superstar status in Japan, his thrilling performances and expanding fan base in the US indicate that he is headed in the same direction. Pacquiao was a fighter who united spectators from all over the world. Inoue has the potential to become the next Manny Pacquiao. He also has the capacity to connect with people all across the globe. Inoue is a unique blend of explosive, calculating, and entertaining. He not only wins battles, but also dominates them in amazing ways that spectators don't see. Despite his domination, Pacquiao now is humble and grounded outside the ring, making him an attractive figure for fans and a role model for aspiring fighters. Just watch his bouts to experience them. International fighters have traditionally had significant obstacles when trying to break into the US market, but Inoue's ability to deliver exciting performances has already brought him reputation in the US. Porter's remarks highlight how well Inoue's persona and style transfer to worldwide viewership. Staying at the top is more important than just getting there. In a recent interview with former super middleweight champion Carl F. Pacquiao, Inoue demonstrated that he is more than capable of dominating various weight classes, just as Pacquiao did throughout his career. When a legend like Manny Pacquiao, an 8-division world champion and one of the greatest boxers of all time, praises a fighter, the boxing world takes notice. Pacquiao praised Naoya Inoue, calling him a fantastic boxer, and expressed optimism for given Pacquiao's unmatched experience and his comprehension of what it takes to succeed at the highest levels of the sport. The Filipino icon didn't hesitate to name Naoya Inoue, praising his skills and potential. These words carry a lot of weight. Do you still watch boxing now that you're still into it? Do you enjoy watching boxing? Yes, because boxing is my passion, so that's why I enjoy watching it. Do you have a favorite fighter that's currently active? Amazing fight, huh? He's a fantastic fighter, and I hope he'll do well in a different category. I'm sure he'll be a good fighter as boxing fans continue to discuss possible bouts and pound-for-pound rankings. The possibility of a fight between Jant Tank Davis and Naoya the Monster Inoue, who both dominate their respective categories with explosive power, excites more people than few comparisons. Juventus Styles regarding Anoue's skills and the potential, Davis has been open and honest. Considering their concurrent rise in pound-for-pound rankings over the years, Davis was asked in a recent interview about his opinion of Inoue as a fighter. He admitted that he was a relatively new fan of Inoue, having only begun watching him a few years ago, but he expressed great admiration for his skill set, calling him a fighter who possesses the whole package and stressing that he is unquestionably one of the most well-rounded fighters. It's talking that he is the leader in Fact Checker's well-rounded fighters. That means that he is unquestionably one of the most well-rounded fighters. Who is this recognition is important because Davis. When asked about the possibility of facing Inoue in the ring, Davis expressed skepticism, downplaying the likelihood of such a matchup. He said that he didn't see himself fighting in any way, characterizing the idea as a stretch, and repeated that he honestly didn't. Davis is considered one of the most complete fighters in boxing, and for a fighter of his caliber to recognize Inoue as the entire package highlights the Japanese champion's exceptional technical prowess, power, and versatility. Think might occur, given the substantial weight disparity between the two fighters and the fact that Inoue rose through the ranks from lesser categories, Davis may be reluctant to consider the possibility. In another interview, Davis was questioned about the possibility of a future fight with Inoue, maybe at a catchweight, because his career has been centered around larger weight classes like lightweight and super lightweight, making a showdown between the two logistically difficult. Davis's reply was kind and Quote, when the reporter inquired about the possibility of a contest at a catchweight, Davis was open to the concept but recognized the difficulties. Tank said that a fight with Inoue would be enjoyable, but he also pointed out that it would be very technical. He said that although the matchup would be thrilling, would be too big for Inoue, Tank called the possible fight a dream scenario, highlighting his enthusiasm and confidence in the concept. Davis called the fictitious bout a dream fight, highlighting the technical skill that both fighters would bring to the ring, but he also reaffirmed the size difference between them, implying that his physical advantage might be too great for Inoue to overcome. What's the Japanese guy in Norway anyway? Yeah. Do you think you two might meet someday, perhaps at a catch-up? Or perhaps if he continues to gain weight, definitely. That would be a fun fight. Yeah, that would be a fun fight. Me and him, but I believe that I would be too large for him. That battle would be like a dream, however. Indeed, a bout between Naoya Inoue and Gervonta Davis would surely captivate boxing fans throughout the globe. Both fighters have distinct qualities that enable them to dominate their respective classes. Renowned for his lethal ability to take out counter-attacking, Davis modifies his approach to take advantage of his opponent's tank flaws, while Inoue's quick reflexes and skillful combinations make him one of the sport's most dangerous fighters. Even if he fights with smaller weights, his ability to make changes in the middle of a battle has been crucial to Davis's success. Competitors of heavy ear. The main barrier to a Davis fight is his elite skill set, which is shown by fighters like Davis, as well as by his ability to manage distance, feint, and counterpunch. The weight differential is the method to fight. In the meantime, when a legend like Mike Tyson speaks highly of a current fighter, it's a moment that resonates deeply within the boxing community. Tyson recently expressed his admiration for Japanese boxing phenom Naoya Inoue, who has dominated the lower weight divisions with his skills, while Davis has competed as high as 140 lb, but Inoue has not yet advanced past the super bantamweight 122 lb division. Technical skill and explosive force. Tyson also mentioned a possible clash between Inoue and Gervonta Tank in his remarks. In his recent words, Davis sparked enthusiasm about a potential future clash. Tyson showed his respect for Inoue by describing him as really awesome and highlighting the fighter's indisputable talent and promise for Tyson, saying, "A now the best," is a huge praise coming from someone who has seen and experienced some of the greatest fighters in history. Clip Tyson's support demonstrates the amazement that many feel when watching Ida's fights, as the Japanese boxer has swiftly gained international renown for his remarkable knockout speed and tactical skill in Ida's journey. When Tyson was asked if he could see this fight taking place, his response was both humorous and perceptive, touching on the possibility of moving up to 130 pounds, where one of the sport's most exciting talents, Gervonta Davis, competes. The prospect of a bout between the two has enthralled boxing fans. The specifics of a possible confrontation between the two champions. Although the weight difference between Inoue and Davis is substantial, Inoue has fought at 118 and 132 pounds, while Davis has fought at 130 and 135 pounds. Tyson seemed amenable to the notion of a catchweight bout between the two, indicating a possible 132-pound catchweight as a middle ground. Tyson is prepared to consider the possibilities. Do you believe the monster is the greatest pound-for-pound fighter, even if this isn't the most traditional matchup? Or do you think the winner is the world's greatest warrior? He's 122 now, but when it comes to Naoya Inoue, the Japanese boxing sensation known for his fierce knockout power and technical brilliance, it's evident that his influence extends beyond just the fans and media. In my opinion, Japanese fight is the best fight. The idea has been put forth for him to move up to 130 fights to face Gervonta Davis down the line. Could you see that fight happening? The interview, former world champion and current boxing pundit Chris Algieri declared his intense love and respect for Inoue, referring to him as his favorite fighter in the world. His excitement for Inoue is clear as he spoke about the lengths he goes to watch the fighter's fights and the pleasure it offers him. Chris Algieri has a true enthusiasm for seeing a fighter at the top of his game, and his respect for Naoya Inoue goes beyond simple adulation. For Algieri, watching Inoue fights is more than the sensation of seeing brilliance is what the sport is about. Because of the time difference between the US and Japan, Inoue's battles often happen early in the morning, yet he still gets up early to capture every second. His commitment to watching does not in any way represent his admiration for the boxer or the thrill and happiness that fans across the globe experience from Noah's bouts. In addition, Chris Algieri's custom around Inoue's fights is both humorous and He elaborates on how he makes time to watch the bouts live despite the early hours, demonstrating how much the Japanese boxer has enthralled him. With a cup of espresso and a fierce enthusiasm for the fight, Alger's description vividly depicts his early morning routine. He immerses himself in the action, shouting at the TV with the enthusiasm of a true fan. The idea of him rising early and becoming emotionally invested in the fight, despite the time difference and his neighbor's discomfort, speaks to. It's evident that Naoya Inoue's ability to produce thrilling moments in the ring has made his fights an event for fans like Algeri. He's my favorite fighter in the world, and I look forward to watching him fight every day and getting up at 7, 6, and 6:30 in the morning to observe Jay Carblanket up there. I've got my espresso, and I'm getting ready for a Naoya Inoue battle, which has turned into a kind of a pastime for me. In a recent interview, Canelo Alvarez was asked to share his thoughts on the top 4 fighters in the sport today. I'm sitting outside watching my neighbors hate me because I'm screaming at the camera at 7:30 in the morning for every knockdown that happened in this fight, and there were a lot of them. In terms of abilities, when asked to choose the best 4 boxers in the sport, his response demonstrated both his admiration for the current elite and his understanding of the vast range of skill in contemporary boxing. Without hesitation, Canelo replied by mentioning some of the most well-known boxers in the world. His selections are instructive because they showcase the fighters he feels have the mental and physical qualities in addition to the technical prowess required to excel in the sport. One of these new boxers is CB Gianni. His current agent revealed in this episode that his prior agents were also people who suffered from anxiety disorders and depression. Canelo Alvarez's mention of Naoya Inoue says a lot about the development of Japanese boxers. Inoue has gained international recognition for his remarkable skill set, ferocious power, and unrivaled precision. His ability to dominate multiple weight classes, especially his brutal knockout power and well-rounded boxing style, places him among the best in the world. While his success in the lower weight classes, including his impressive title defenses, has earned him respect, Inoue's rise has been rapid. The fact that some of the biggest names in boxing have endorsed Inoue shows how well known the Japanese fighter is, even among established champions. Meanwhile, Todd Duo, Tyson Fury's US promoter, thinks that Inoue is superior to Alexander Usyk in the class. The Ukrainian maestro made history last year by defeating Fury in a close split decision in Saudi Arabia, becoming the first undisputed heavyweight champion in 25 years. By doing so, he joined the elite ranks of Inoue and Terence. After unifying the cruiserweight division in 2018, Crawford became the 3rd man to become an undisputed champion in 2 weight classes during the 4-belt era. He also rose to the top of the coveted Ring Magazine pound-for-pound rankings following the victory in December when Usyk defeated Fury once more in their eagerly awaited rematch. However, Dubo believes that his client should be at the top, telling TalkSport, "I think Naoya Inoue is the best in the world. Alexander Usyk is not even close. People have this." In his professional career, with 24. Despite differing opinions on who is currently the best in the world, Inoue has maintained his position as the undisputed super bantamweight champion after a triumphant knockout victory following an early scare. His performance propelled him to the top of the Ring Magazine's pound-for-pound rankings, surpassing boxing greats like Alexander Usyk, Terence Crawford, and Canelo Alvarez. According to boxing analyst Manuk Akapian, Inoue is the favorite choice for the boxing aficionado. Inoue is a favorite choice for the boxing alligatori. He has been ranked second only to Crawford in the world's elite and most decorated boxers for an impressive 366 weeks. So why does he not have the same level of fame outside of Japan as his peers? Like many fighters, he started his boxing career in his native country and quickly established himself there. In just his 6th professional fight, he won the WBC light flyweight title, solidifying his position as a rising star in the sport. Aside from a few fights abroad, all of his bouts have taken place in Japan, with the exception of one in Glasgow in 2019 and 2 appearances in the US, the first of which was behind closed doors. The Tokyo Dome sold out for Ino's May showdown against Nur, marking the first boxing match in the arena since Mike Tyson's shocking defeat to James Buster Douglas in 1990. Japanese boxing expert Doubt Segura told CNN Sport that Inoue is a legitimate superstar among his countrymen and that he is also one of the best in his field. Segura believes that once death is punishable and that death is painless within him. Speaking with Inoue on several times, one of the world's top and most exciting current fighters, Sugiura, emphasizes that Inoue enjoys a more sedate lifestyle away from the spotlight that many of his peers need. According to Embrace, it was previously claimed that he disliked interacting with the media, but it was more because he was bashful and didn't give the greatest interviews. However, he has been receiving more attention lately and seems to have improved his interviewing skills. Inoue's fights within his weight classes have been largely lopsided, with his sheer dominance fueling calls for him to move up in weight. This shift is driven by the allure of higher-profile opponents in the heavier divisions, creating anticipation for some potentially massive matchups. Meanwhile, fighting in Japan presents his opponents with a difficult road trip, but their purses ease the discomfort and their tongues are wagging out for an invitation. WBA champion Javon Tank Lightweight Davis is among them. That's all from today's video. The opponent in particular that fans have been requesting is I Know a Take on Tank. You believe you are the monster from Japan here one day before. Your dealings up, yes, you do, since you got it said before. Oh, whoa, I don't know what. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the bell icon, like, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our next video.